Hey folks, welcome back to Integrative Psychonautics. I hope you're doing well out there. Today's video is just going to be a little bit of a transmission from the heart, or a little bit of a brain dump, however you want to think of this. Trying to capture a bit of the few insights that popped up for me around the Christmas season before it gets too far away from Christmas. So I'm filming this in the first week of January, and I wanted to just kind of capture some of, these kind of deep, poignant, profound thoughts and experiences that kind of arose for me while I was visiting my folks. And this really, pertains to all of us. So what I want to talk about today is how you really can't be going around saying the craziest, most toxic shit to people and expect to have a good world. We all have to really become responsible. We all have to become cognizant. We all have to become more attuned to the importance of how we relate to each other, and the importance of, what words we use and how we use our words and how we relate in general. This is something that I think has really become runaway and exacerbated by, the prevalence of the internet, especially over the last 10 years with the rise of social media and the rise of all the different flavors and forms of social apps and media and, dating apps and all that kind of stuff. And any sort of use of the internet to relate to each other, even the comment section here on YouTube or other places, we see the same thing over and over and over, which is people using the most, every opportunity that they can to say the most terrible things to each other. And, we this is how we got here. This is why we have a toxic world. This is why we have a toxic society, or at least a big part of it. I wouldn't necessarily, hang everything on just that being causal, but it's certainly a major place where we have leverage, where we have the ability to make a change, where we can tilt the world and tilt society towards something that is more beautiful, more harmonious, more supportive, more healing, or away from that and towards something that's more fragmenting, more divisive, more filled with conflict, more filled with trauma, whatnot, right? Obviously, a big part of my work and what I do is help people to heal, and help people specifically to heal their trauma. And especially over this last year, my focus has been relational trauma in particular. So as I've been going back and learning more and more and more about relationships and relating and attachment, secure attachment, what that looks like, and what the behaviors are that kind of sum up to this effect of secure attachment, I've become incredibly attuned and sensitive to what it means to have secure attachment, how we, what it means to relate from a place of secure attachment, and the impact that has on people's nervous systems. And, while I was visiting my folks over the holidays, just having conversations with them, or just, listening to, watching TV, or listening to what's on the radio, or what have you, I was just kind of there enjoying my holiday and my time with my folks. And it was jaw-dropping how many instances and examples I encountered in the span of 2-3 days of some really wild, toxic shit that people say to each other. And in the case of my parents, hearing them talk about maybe, the way other family members have treated them over the years, or how they were talked to when they were children back in the, in this case, in the 50s and 60s. It is wild. It is crazy. It's insane to think about this weird blind spot we have around how we treat people, and this kind of really foolish expectation that we can say really wild, toxic shit to people and have that not turn into relational wounding and relational damaging. And then, that at scale, have that not turn into, of course, societal damage, mental health damage en masse, which is where we find ourselves now. I'm a big believer that relating is at the very heart, at the very core of our nervous system. And because of that, the quality of our relating really determines whether we are wounded or healed in a big way. And I think that this is one of the major kind of cruxes of the human condition, and one of the major things we have to grapple with is that other human beings and how they relate to us is both the source of probably our greatest wounding for most of us and our greatest healing. and it's all how we leverage that power. And so, you know, I mean, let me pause here, and say, I want to be honest that, you know, I've screwed this up a lot in my own life, you know, even recently, and I am not perfect when it comes to relating either. And I certainly have done damage to people over the years. And I'm really mindful of that. And I don't want to pretend, I don't want to come on here and pretend like I'm a perfect person modeling, you know, absolute perfection in relationship. That's not where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to present myself as, you know, better than in any way, but it's something we all need to be mindful of and working at consistently and constantly to get better and better at. And what I can say in my own experience is the better I've gotten at, well, the more I've healed myself and become more securely attached, and the better I've got at understanding what it means to relate from a secure place towards others, the better, the more healing impact I've had on others, the better the feedback I've gotten from others. And as I've applied that to myself, it's absolutely healed my own nervous system. So I'm kind of digressing a bit here, but my point is that this shit matters. And this, you know, for all the things that debatably we can't control in this world, i.e., you know, global politics and wars and macroeconomic factors going crazy, and you know, the wrong use of technology and all the other, you know, valid concerns we have, you know, big social movements that are, you know, socially destructive, right? Where we do start to have control is how we treat each other, right? How we relate to each other. And again, collectively, I really think we have a huge blind spot around how we treat each other. And we're very dismissive about, you know, what we say. And we kind of just expect other people to suck that up and have that not hurt them, you know, especially, you know, when it comes to like parents and children, or teachers and children, or family members with other family members. We often are really blind to how our words and the quality of our relating can really, really hurt people, right? And then we wonder why we end up with large toxic social movements online, or why we have a world full of materialistic people in the you know, dating world right now who are all being incredibly toxic towards each other, et cetera, et cetera. It's all downstream of the quality of our relating. And this is one place I don't think we can afford to have a blind spot anymore. And one place where we really need to start to work to do better and be better. And I include myself in that. You know, I'm not, again, I'm cognizant of it. I'm not necessarily always perfect. There are a lot of nuances to this conversation, and I'll be talking about those nuances in other videos, but I just want to kind of put this out there because, you know, I go home for the holidays, hang out with my folks, love my folks. They're awesome. They certainly have their wounds though, and they've certainly been through some stuff in life. And to hear some of the things that they've been told and have, you know, have been leveraged at them over the years, it's just mind-boggling, honestly, that human beings frequently and regularly treat each other like that. And then, you know, wonder why we have a messed up, damaged, dysfunctional world. I mean, it's right there. It's right in front of us. It's so painfully obvious. So anyways, that's my thought for the day. I know it's not exactly a cheerful one, but it's really at the heart of things from my point of view, and really important to really wrap our heads around the importance of good relating. We cannot be dismissive of this. We cannot just like, you know, brush this off. Yes, this is a responsibility each of us has. It doesn't matter how damaged I am, I still have a responsibility to treat others in a way that doesn't damage them, right? And this is the blind spot I've seen, quite frankly, even with therapists, even with shamans, guides, teachers in the trauma healing community, in the psychedelic therapy space. I still see really major blind spots in our understanding of relating. And so this is a conversation I'll be, you know, leaning into a lot more here on the channel. But I just want to kind of put this out there and kind of get the message out and stimulate some thought around this, because it's so out of whack from my point of view. It's so far off track. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to wrap there because I kind of don't really know how to wind this conversation down. Much love to you all. Thank you for watching. More content on the way soon, and I hope you're doing well.